Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into one of the most incredible archaeological finds ever. We're talking about a life-sized army, thousands strong, that was buried for more than 2,000 years, all to guard one emperor in the afterlife.
So our story kicks off not with some big official archaeological dig. Nope. It starts with a bunch of farmers in rural China. It's March 29th, 1974, and they're just trying to dig a well, find some water.
But what they were about to find, it would completely rewrite history. They were about to uncover a silent, secret army that had been standing guard, totally unknown, for over 2,000 years. So as they're digging, their tools just slam into something hard. And it's not rock, it's this reddish clay. And then you can just imagine this, the life-sized head of a man. They had literally stumbled upon the very first soldier of this massive, hidden army. And just think about that for a second. An entire army, a project that must have involved hundreds of thousands of people, was kept so secret that for 2 whole millennia, not one single historical text ever even mentioned it.
I mean, the sheer scale of it. We're talking thousands and thousands of life-size soldiers, all arranged for battle. It's no wonder it quickly, and let's be honest, deservedly earned the nickname the Eighth Wonder of the World.
Okay, so this raises the big question, right? Who on earth would build something like this, and why? Well, to get that answer, we really have to get inside the mind of its creator, who was, without a doubt, one of the most powerful and complicated figures in all of history.
Qin Shi Huang, China's very first emperor. This guy was a total paradox. On one hand, he was this incredible visionary. He's the one who ended centuries of war and created a unified China, standardizing everything from writing to money to roads. But on the other hand, he was a ruthless tyrant. He ruled with absolute fear and worked countless people to death to build his massive projects.
And all of this incredible ambition, was driven by one single, all-consuming obsession. He wanted to conquer death. He wanted to live and rule forever. And when his quest for, an elixir of life didn't pan out, this tomb became his ultimate insurance policy. A massive underground empire where he could keep commanding the world for all eternity.
But let's be clear, this wasn't just some collection of statues. Oh no. This was a complete, battle-ready military force designed with just meticulous, strategic detail, all to protect the emperor forever. And the army itself, it's really just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. It's basically the garrison for this huge necropolis, which literally means a city of the dead, a whole underground empire modeled on his actual capital city. At 56 square kilometers, well, that makes it the largest burial site anywhere on Earth, period.
And what's so fascinating is how it shows the army's super strict hierarchy. I mean, just like a real military, every soldier's rank is crystal clear. You can see the general is the tallest guy out there. He's got this distinctive peasant crown, while the infantry and the archers have their own specific armor, their own weapons. It's all incredibly detailed. So how in the world do you go about creating over 8,000 unique, life-sized warriors? Well, it took this revolutionary mix of what you might call industrial efficiency and very personal human artistry.
The whole process was really a marvel of project management. It was basically one of history's first ever assembly lines. You had workshops just churning out standardized body parts, legs, arms, torsos. Then those were all put together. Artisans would then come in and add all the unique hand-carved details before the figures got fired in these super hot kilns. And get this for quality control. The craftsmen actually had to stamp their names on their work, so if there were any mistakes, it could be traced right back to them. Talk about pressure.
And this is where we get to a really cool paradox. Even though they used molds for the basic parts, no 2 warriors are exactly alike. And that's not just a hunch, it's a scientific fact. They've done 3D scans that show their ears are as unique as human fingerprints. That's just proof of the incredible individual artistry that went into every single soldier. And make no mistake, this was not just for show. This wasn't a ceremonial guard. This was an army armed for a real fight. Archaeologists have pulled over 40,000, that's 4,000, real, functional bronze weapons out of these pits. Everything from swords to crossbows.
For decades, the amazing condition of these weapons led to this really compelling theory. See, they found traces of chromium on the surface, which made a lot of people think that the Qin artisans had invented some kind of advanced anti-rust technology, basically chrome plating, a full 2,000 years before it was even patented in the West.
It sounded almost too good to be true. But, as it turns out, that incredible story is a myth. More recent, much more rigorous science has shown that the chromium wasn't a deliberate coating at all. It was actually just accidental contamination. It came from a chromium-rich lacquer they used on the wooden parts of the weapons, the shafts and handles, that have long since rotted away.
So what are the real reasons they're so well preserved? Well, it's a combination of two things. First, some really sophisticated metalworking. The bronze was a special high-tin alloy that just naturally resists corrosion. And second, the lucky chemistry of the soil they were buried in, which created this low-oxygen environment that basically stopped rust in its tracks.
But the warriors are still holding on to another spectacular secret. It's one that was, tragically, lost almost the second it was found, revealing a sight that, well, no one today was ever really meant to see.
Because you see, the army we all know today, this silent, earthen-colored army, that is just a pale ghost of what it once looked like. When they were first buried, they were actually a dazzling spectacle of vibrant, lifelike color. And this slide just shows you the difference perfectly. On one side, you've got the monochrome warrior we all recognize. But on the other, that's how he was meant to be seen. Painted in these brilliant reds, greens, and purples, with a pink-toned face and black hair. I mean, it was an army that looked truly alive.
So what happened? It's actually really tragic. The lacquer that they used as a base for the paint was completely waterlogged after 2,000 years underground. The moment it was excavated and hit the dry air, that layer would just shrink, curl up, and flake away in a matter of minutes, taking all those precious colors with it. It's a huge problem that modern conservators now race against the clock to try and prevent.
But here's the thing. For all its wonder, the army is just the security detail. The ultimate prize, the emperor's own tomb, still lies completely untouched, sealed beneath this massive, man-made mound of earth.
The ancient historian Sima Qian wrote about it. He described this underground palace with a map of China where the rivers and seas were made of flowing mercury. The ceiling was covered in pearls to look like the night sky, and of course, it was all protected by deadly booby traps. For centuries, this just sounded like a wild fantasy. But, and this is the incredible part, modern soil surveys have confirmed there are abnormally high levels of mercury in the ground right where the palace is supposed to be. The legends, they might just be true.
So today, the tomb remains sealed. It's partly out of respect, but mostly because of some very real concerns about preservation. We just don't have the technology yet to open it without risking, destroying whatever's inside. And that leaves us with one final, absolutely tantalizing question. What other wonders are still waiting for us in that sealed, subterranean empire?